Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. Today we have me, Mackenzie. Then we also have Hannah and Nathan. And this week's film was Stepford Wives. And we watched the 1975 version, which was directed by Brian Forbes. The film genre is like a horror slash sci-fi. And overall, it's a film about a family moving from New York to the suburban town Stepford. And throughout the movie, Joanna Eberhardt, I think it's her last name, she's like the main character, realizes that the wives have been replaced with like an emotionless duplicate thanks to their husbands that are part of the men's association.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, this film focuses a lot on the 1970s women's movement and the pressure that's put on women to conform to traditional roles. And it also explores themes of male control and loss of identity. Um, Overall, I liked it. What did y'all think?
I liked the movie, and I also feel like this movie really showcased what was going on in 1970, especially when it came out in 1975. Like that was when they declared like 1975 being International Women's Year. So I feel like to have this movie come out, that's kind of like, oh, like not, you know, all wives don't need to be perfect. I feel like they were trying to push the message, or like all women don't need to be perfect, because in the movie they really wanted like the men's associated association wanted like the wives to be like this perfect housewife where all they do is cook and clean and the house is always clean. And I feel like it really showcased like no, like yes, this is what the movie wanted, but like that's not how reality was, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I
Yeah.
think is kind of funny because like throughout the movie, like it's especially after she figures out like what's going on. Like in my brain, I was like, oh, and now she's gonna like reverse it, and all the women are gonna be like, yeah, I can have my own opinion and my own thoughts.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that at the end of the movie, she still gets like switched over, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah, that
get up
was a
that for her
little,
to still lose, I guess.
yeah, you can definitely tell because this movie was directed by a man, and you can definitely tell that it was directed by a man, and it's kind of like a man's perspective of, I feel like, the story. But for the time, I feel like, there's not really a dystopian movie like this yet. Like nowadays, there's so many, like Get Out or The Handmaid's Tale and stuff like that. I feel like there's so many movies like this, but during the time, like this was kind of like the first.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to with like in the reading, it's talking about like the field of robotics getting bigger in the 60s, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Men's Association is like linked to Disney's robotics and animation and stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like y'all caught that, but that guy's name was like short for Disney or something.
Yeah, I did catch
Yeah.
that.
And then I was like doing the reading and I was like, oh,
Yeah, I
that
think it
makes
is
sense.
it like a jab at Disney?
I don't know. I think it was just kind of like a, because also in the reading, it's talking about how it said new scientific ideas are the starting point for a nightmarish vision. And so I think maybe it's them being like, oh, this is cool that we can do that, but look at what can happen. Like I feel like it's kind of playing like two different, like it's the feminist part of it of
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to be this kind of woman, and then also like look what we can do with these new scientific things. So I think it's like two completely different themes that the movie's doing.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, especially, yeah. It's definitely a movie where it's technology. What's that word? Technical? It's very
Tech-
technical advanced.
Technological.
Yeah, technology. Uh-huh. That word. It's very advanced, I feel like, in that aspect, especially with some of the scenes that they were doing, like where they would zoom in and out and then it would just cut to the next scene.
Hmm.
I feel like we haven't seen anything like that. And then like the robots was very ahead of its time. Not
Mhm.
ahead, but like part of its time. Did y'all think that this movie was a feminist movie or no?
I don't think he was
I,
ever necessarily saying like the way that the wives were acting was like bad. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
like we kind of got like the idea that like they don't want to be like that, but also I don't like yes but no because it didn't really seem like a terrible thing for them to switch.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I don't see
I
it
don't know.
as a
Yeah.
feminist movie personally. That's just me personally. Like, I do think it has like qualities about it, like I said, that represented the time frame, and it's like, yeah, go women. But at the same time, when it comes down to it, I feel like it would have been more powerful if the women, you know, if at the end, Joanna, if she overtook the main guy, like if she ended up killing him, you
Yeah.
know, if she didn't get crossed over, I feel like that would have been more powerful than her getting crossed. Like it's just the ending was just very subtle for me. And I
Yeah,
think the
like,
ending is what made it. Sorry,
sorry.
Nathan. I
Sorry.
feel like the ending is what made it non-venomous.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think this is a. I mean, I wouldn't see this as a feminist movie.
Mm-mm.
I just like. I mean, like you guys said, it's more of a sci-fi. I mean, yeah, that's the genre, but like, again, I still don't see this as a. I don't. I can't explain why. Like, there are a lot of women in this movie, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you said, there are some moments of girl power, lack of a better term,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't think the story or whatever the plot was like centers around that idea.
Mm-hmm. And I know they intended it to be a feminist movie, but I think they just kind of missed the I think they just missed it, honestly. And
Mm,
I think if they wanted it to be a feminist movie, they should have focused maybe more on the sci-fi aspect.
mm,
And maybe then it would have landed better.
Well, another thing in the reading, which is like has to do with feminism, but like kind of the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Says he depicts the men. This is from like from the book version, but
Yes.
like still the same thing.
Yeah.
But it
I remember,
says he
yeah.
depicts the men of Stepford as villains, yet their scheme against the women is so extravagantly villainous that he might be suspected of satirically heightening feminist fears about male opposition. So like being
But I
like,
don't think
oh,
the
are
movie really
y'all
got that. Like maybe the book, and I feel like the book you can probably tell because it tells more. But I feel like they missed the point for that in the movie.
mm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mackenzie.
oh no, you're good.
But I feel like, because I read that too, and I was like, there's no way they got that. Like, no, that, because it's a depiction of the book, right? Like, that had to be probably from the book, but the movie, I was like, no, this, like, I did not get that personally. So, but that could just be me.
So what you're saying is they could have executed this film in a different way, where if they were wanting to make this feminist movie, they could have gone in another direction.
Yeah, I feel like they could have gone in another direction and, I don't know, taken more elements from the book. And I know that's a little hard, and I feel like it's hard to turn a book into a movie. So I feel like that's maybe another aspect of why it was so hard and why they missed it. But I don't know. I feel like they could have focused on other things, like the scientific part of it. Focus on the robots.
I think for sure the actual feminist part of it could be iffy,
Mm-hmm.
but another big like theme in there was like male control,
Mm-hmm.
which that one I think is much more easier to see throughout the film that like these men have all the control over the women, especially after they turn like into a robot. And that part I think was like very obvious, which I think might
Yeah.
be where like the feminist part comes in because they're like, no, we don't need to be controlled by men, but I think it kind of gets like lost on the way there. But
Yeah.
sure,
So like, does the feminist part only? I mean, for the most part, show up near the end of the film, where it's.
I think it's kind of throughout when she figures out when they move to this and she figures out and you can kind of tell when she talks to her wife or not her wife, when she talks to, her husband, she definitely doesn't like she stands her own ground compared to the rest of the wives.
see, I thought also,
And so did
whenever they were
Bobby.
trying to make that like the group for women, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like Joanna and Bobby, and they had these girls come over and they like actually started talking about like my husband doesn't do this, like he never loved me. Like I think
Yeah,
that part was like it was
Hmm.
like they almost got there, and then
but
like 2 seconds later she was spotless kitchen. Like
So
yeah.
this is actually what we were talking about in class last time, where
Mm-hmm.
we were given like he was testing us of what movies from pop culture of a
Yeah.
woman like does not talk about a man, and
That
there are
was hard.
yeah, and there are some there's like a handful of movies, like Hannah said, Wicked, where that movie has like girls, two protagonist girls, and they like don't ever talk about other men most of the time. I mean, I don't think ever.
They do. They talk about there's a love interest,
Um,
but I think it's
I
also
mean, like for
very
the
hard,
majority of the
like
movie.
in movies, when a female is, a protagonist or
Mhm.
the main character or whatever. I feel like it is very common to have a love interest, if that makes sense. There has to be a love interest.
Mhm.
And even in this movie, like, there's a love interest. Whether that, I mean, nowadays it's whether it's a man or a woman, but in the 70s, it's like everyone talked about, in every movie, especially this movie, they're talking about men. It's a whole men association. And maybe that's why the movie didn't hit very well in the box office. Maybe during this time they were like, wait, no, like that we need to be making movies that are for women and that inspire women and not just talking about like, oh, how men can corrupt women and overtake and all this stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
Have y'all seen Don't Worry, Darling with Harry Styles and Florence Pugh?
Yes, this movie reminded me of that
I
Yeah.
so
have
much.
not
Yes,
watched that. Can you spoil it for me?
It's very
very
similar,
similar.
but instead of like moving, it's like don't they like put headphones on and it's like a whole different and Florence, I forgot what her name is in the movie, but she like figures it out
Yeah,
and
Mm.
it's the same thing, like all the men go to work, but it's like the same as like the men's association.
yeah. And all the women like have perfect lives, perfect bodies. That's another thing is that like when these women get corrupt, they do kind of change. Like they're perfect. Like their bodies even get transformed. And I like how is it Joanna? I like how she talked about that in the movie. How she brought that up. She was like, "You look different. This about you looks different. Your body looks different." I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. And that one, the wife that was talking about like her husband doesn't actually love her, but
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
she looks like that, so of course they're gonna be together. And I was like, ooh. Oh, you know what? I wrote down a quote that I was like, oh my gosh. when the Disney guy, I don't remember what his actual name is, but when he walked into the kitchen and she was like doing the dishes and
Oh
he said, I like
yeah.
to watch women do little domestic chores.
Yes, I wrote down the same
My
quote.
jaw
I
literally just
was
dropped.
shook.
Wait,
I
what
was
happened?
like, "Oh my gosh, you did not just say that."
Which
That is
after watching the
crazy.
whole movie, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But like when I saw it, I was like, no way
Yeah.
you said that to her.
Do y'all think that like men, this is like how men viewed women before the 70s, before the second wave of feminism? Do you think they wanted, the women to stay home and work and have the house perfect and, have their wives, and I quote, be perfect and stuff?
I
Do you
mean,
think that's kind of how men saw women or no?
I think that's possible. I mean, because like back then, like it was not necessarily tradition, but it was like the norm
Hmm.
of where a woman, like majority of women, were at stay home wives and moms, and the men went to work to provide. And yeah,
Yeah, I do think it was probably normal, but like it kind of made me think about like how the movie industry and how everyone kind of viewed women before the 70s. Really shook me. I went down a whole rabbit hole.
I
Like
think
a
the
whole
movie,
rabbit hole.
like the movie doesn't, like I said a little bit earlier, but like, because looking at it now, we're like, oh, is that how they viewed women? But you can
Hmm.
tell with how it was like directed that it wasn't looked at as bad.
Yeah.
Like the only one who thought it was bad was Joanna and then Bobby before she like became a robot. But
Hmm.
besides that, everyone was like, oh yeah,
We're
like
happy to give up our hobbies.
yeah.
so
Because like
like
you look back
this
at it,
movie. Oh, sorry.
no, you're good.
So like, oh, okay, you
No,
go
you're
ahead.
good. You're good.
Okay, so I was about to say like, so this movie kind of ends in a bad ending, but like everyone's kind of happy ish.
I
Yes,
mean, the
everyone
men got what
is.
they
Yeah.
wanted, but
Yeah.
The men got what they wanted. All the girls were like turned in the end scene when they're all in the grocery store and they all like go through each different women or woman that was turned. That was good. But yeah, I think that they are happy because they don't know anything else.
yeah,
But if they knew, then I feel like they wouldn't be happy
Yeah.
because before they weren't happy.
yeah. By the way, the timer went.
Okay.
All right. So what would you rate this movie?
7.5. Just because I feel like there's other movies in this time period that came out in the 70s that I feel like really pushed the second wave of feminism. And I feel like this movie, yes, it to a certain extent did. And yes, it, showcased and probably brought to light a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it kind of missed the whole point.
Hmm.
I think
Mackenzie?
I think I would do like an 8, but it also really reminded me of Don't Worry, Darling, and I love that movie.
I
Yeah.
love that movie too. It was so good.
But I do agree that like they definitely could have done more. I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of interested to see like what like how it would have looked differently if a woman had directed it.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that would be cool. There's also a 2004 version, which
Yeah.
I watched that version and it's not good.
oh,
Yeah. I like that.
I would probably give this film. This is my opinion. I don't think it's the worst movie in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably give this like a 6.5.
Yeah, that's a good. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like I said, it's a good film. Like it's a good sci-fi slash horror slash feminist
Mm-hmm.
film. But like I mean, I just kind of liked other films of that genre, like Invasion of
better.
the Body Snatchers. Like that was like a more thrilling and horrific film.
Definitely. And I also like I don't know, I'm obsessed with this time period. So I guess that's just me. But I fun fact, I ordered the book because I wanted to read it and I wanted to compare. So I ordered the book off of Amazon. So I'll let y'all know
Yeah,
if
you'll have to
it's the
tell us
same.
like what's
Yeah.
different in it, what they carry over.
Yeah, because I'm just so interested. Like I was like, oh, I'm just so curious and I love this time period. So I just feel like they could have done it maybe better. Maybe they should have just focused on the whole sci-fi horror thing instead of, oh, we need to make this movie about feminism and everything.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'm gonna